Mark, you'll have seen the League Cup draw.
Yes.
And I mean, no disrespect to Sheffield Wednesday at all, but it's a good draw for you, and I wonder whether it gives you that extra bit of belief now going forward.
Well, from our point of view, we wanted another home draw. That was the key. I think that's what you always want when you get to last stages of competitions. That's as much as you can wish for. We're up against a team from a lower division, but I haven't seen just the highlights of their game against Arsenal. Absolutely no chance of us underestimating Sheffield Wednesday, given what they produced the other night. So it's going to be a difficult tie, as you would expect in the latter stages of a cup competition.
But no Liverpool, no Chelsea, because you knocked them out, no Manchester United either. Still Manchester City in there.
Yeah.
Oh, and Liverpool, of course. Sorry, did I say Liverpool on there?
At the moment, yeah.
Let me start on again. Some of the big teams have gone out. Does that give you hope going forward?
Well, I think so. I think obviously when the so-called bigger sides in the Premier League fall by the wayside, then I think most teams would think, well, that gives you a better chance maybe to even progress to the actual final, which is always our intention when we obviously go into the competition at the beginning of the year. It's a priority from our point of view that we want to do well in the cup competitions. If not the League Cup, then certainly FA Cup. It's something that I've always stressed that we want to be part of, and it's a major part of our thinking leading into new seasons. So we're pleased we're in the quarter final. We'd love to go all the way. I think we've shown good potential this year. We, fair to say, probably haven't hit the heights that we know we're capable of yet. So by the time the latter stage of these competitions come, we could be really hitting all our tags and the levels that we think we're capable of. But in between, we've got important Premier League games as well, so we need to focus on that now.
With that in mind, how's the injuries, particularly in defence?
Yeah, well, we're a little bit threadbare. Obviously, leading into the game at Chelsea, Marc Muniesa has got quite a significant hamstring strain, unfortunately for him. Maybe not quite as bad as we first thought, but it's still upwards of a grade 2, possibly a grade 3 hamstring, so you're looking at probably 3 or 4 weeks minimum. So that's a shame for the boy. Glenn Johnson wasn't ready midweek to play, but he's trained today, so hopefully he won't get a reaction and he may well be available. Jeff Cameron won't be available at the weekend. He's probably 4 or 5 more days yet. Ideally, if we can get him back for Monday, then he might be an option the following weekend. Mam Diouf, a little bit sore, a little bit stiff, but we think he'll be okay. Johnny Walters the same, had a dead leg, had to come off. Should be okay, but a bit stiff. We haven't done a great deal with the guys that obviously were involved the other night, because it's more about recuperation and recovery today for them. Who else is there? Bojan will be fine. Yeah, he'll be available. Thinking behind that was obviously that if he'd played and played at the weekend, he was looking at 4 games in something like 12 days, so it was too much for him at this stage of the season and at this stage in terms of coming back from a serious injury. So he wasn't risked midweek, but it wasn't because he was injured, because it was too much of a risk to give him that much game time in a short space of time. So he's fine at the weekend. Yeah, that's about it, I think.
Does that give you a real issue at the back, and does it mean that Ryan Shawcross is going to have to play?
Ryan, checked on Ryan today. He looked fine. Of all the ones that came through, he was probably the one in the best of nick. So we're pleased with that. Obviously, that was a huge test for him, given that he's been out for a number of months, and I don't think he anticipated that he would have to go to 120 minutes in his first game back. I don't think any of us did, but came through it. Showed his qualities on the night as well, both in terms of his playing ability and his leadership that we probably lacked on occasions. So yeah, he's a a massive positive for us. He's fit and he's raring to go again.
Is there a better goalkeeper in the Premier League than Jack Butland at the moment?
Jack's playing exceptionally well, full of confidence, and that's a big thing for goalkeepers. He's enjoying his work. I think he's enjoying being the number one choice here. It's where he believes he should be, and he's growing day on day in terms of his presence and his influence on the team, and that's credit to him. He's not an inexperienced goalkeeper in terms of games played at a decent level at his age, but I think now the time was perfect for Jack to come in as a number one and really start really progressing his career. And he's got a great opportunity here. He's playing with, in a good team, in a good squad, and he's enjoying his work at the moment.
The Stoke fans, as I'm sure you hear, sing England's number one when we talk about Jack Butland. Do you expect that to be the case going forward?
I think Jack will play many games at international level. There's exceptional keeper in Joe Hart ahead of him at the moment, who's still a very young man himself. So there's going to be great competition for that position in the years to come. I think if Jack keeps fit and well and keeps progressing at the rate he is at the moment, then it'll be a huge choice for whoever is the England manager. But it's a nice choice to have when you've got two young, exceptionally gifted keepers.
John Walters scored an exceptional goal again, and his all-round play was very impressive. Are you frightened about losing him with the contract negotiations still ongoing? I know you're not involved in those, but he's out of contract at the end of the season. No sign of that abating. He did put a transfer request in at the last transfer window. He's impressing people. There's a danger here that you could lose him, isn't there?
There is. It's not what I want. It's not what I feel probably John wants. I think there's scope to return to the table. I think I'd like to think so anyway, because he's always been valued here. Obviously, the issue is the length of contract. It's not about our feelings about John's ability or his ability to have an impact on the team, which he's having certainly at the moment. He's playing exceptionally well. So I'd like to think that we can come to some decision positively for not only for ourselves but for John himself, because I think John's one that wants security. He wants to be settled in his work so he can just concentrate on his football and get on with the job in hand. So I'm hopeful that we'll get to a point where we can sit down again and find some common ground.
What do you make of Newcastle? A big defeat for them in the local derby at the weekend. Are they a wounded beast because of that?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a little bit of frustration. I watched the game, obviously, and they were a better team until the sending off. They've had a little bit of boost in midweek. Obviously, Colaccini's sending off been rescinded, so they have him available again. So they're probably thinking that they're very much hard done by 3-0 as well. It's a little bit hard to take against their local rivals, so they'll be wanting to put that right. Prior to that, the last time out at St James's Park was a big win for them. So you would think, even though they had a setback last weekend, given the circumstances of the game, it wouldn't have affected them too readily, and confidence would still be reasonably high from their performance last time out at home. So it's a difficult fixture. It always is going to Newcastle away. So we know we're going to have to play really well, as we did midweek. Huge effort by everybody, but it was a Tuesday night. We've got time to recover, so we're looking forward to it.
And finally, do you feel for Steve McLaren a little bit at the moment and the pressure he's under? Because there's some pundits that suggest that's an impossible job at Newcastle at the moment. It's almost a poison chalice whoever takes it over.
There's huge demands, and it seems to be a club that sways from one issue to another. There's a little bit of noise that seems to surround the club, and that seems to have been the case for any number of years. And whoever's the manager has to deal with that. And it's sometimes the issues off the field rather than on the field that seem to take up the manager of Newcastle's time. But obviously Steve is a very experienced manager. He's been through these periods before. It's an opportunity at a big club, which I would feel Steve would think he deserves, given the career that he's had. So he'll be looking to turn things around very quickly. I'm sure he will.
Mark, do you think it's only a matter of time before Newcastle do kick on? Because you look at the quality of players available to Steve McLaren, and they showed signs of what they're capable of in that Norwich game, didn't they?
Yeah, they've got good players. I mean, they made a significant investment in the playing squad. I think some upwards 40-50 million. I think they spent on the group. So they haven't brought bad players into the squad that they already had. It's as always, it takes a little bit of time for those players to integrate and gel and come together in terms of understanding what their teammates can produce and what they can produce for their teammates, and it all needs to come together. Maybe that hasn't quite happened as quickly as everybody would have hoped, but realistically we're only 10 games into a new season, so you have to give people time to be able to understand what the Premier League demands and what you have to do to be successful. So there may be a case of a little bit of a transitional period that they're going through at the moment, but as always, you can't wait too long. You've got to get on with it and get points on the board, as we all know.
You won at Aston Villa, you won at Swansea. You can make it 3 away wins on the bounce in the Premier League now. Will it be a similar sort of game plan going into this game?
Possibly. I think away form is strong at the moment. We've had a little bit of problem at home. Certainly we were poor last time out in the Premier League against Watford. Didn't have any real drive or intensity to our play, and it was a performance that was uncharacteristic, in fairness. We addressed that on Tuesday very much so, and got back to where we feel we need to be, and we need to replicate what we produced on Tuesday against a very good Chelsea team who will test you. But on the night we were a match for them, and our character and our resilience and our determination to get something out of the game was there for everybody to see, so we need to reproduce that.
And I know a lot has been made of obviously the quality players that have come in the summer and what have you, but with Ryan Shawcross having been out for so long, get him fit and back in the side again, your captain, I mean, he could really help the team kick on, couldn't he?
Yeah, it's a big boost for everybody. Everybody's really delighted that Ryan's back in the fold and he's fit, and touch wood, he's well, and now the issue that he had with his back is resolved, and he can now get on with the rest of his career. It was a worry for everybody, and not least Ryan himself, but we got the best people for him, and we've got great medical staff here at Stoke, arguably the best that I've ever been involved with, and they've got him back at the right stage and at the right pace, and that's why he was able to go into a high intensity game against Chelsea midweek and come through 120 minutes unscathed and feel okay today. So it's a big boost for everybody, big boost for Ryan, obviously, that he's been able to take that step, and now obviously everybody believes he's back and ready to be selected in every game. But big boost for the club as well, because he's the captain, as you say. He's a leader in and around the dressing room. Now he can lead on the pitch as well. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, mate.